Hey guys, welcome to another Swish Waterlad podcast episode. Unfortunately, the Tasman Mako season is now over, but that does mean I will be able to get an episode out every Monday again until the end of season 3. A massive shout out to Swish for still supporting the podcast even though coaching commitments had to come first. Very grateful to them. So go and support Swish by getting yourself or your mate your very own personalised video from one of your favourite sports stars. And with the Women's Rugby World Cup around the corner, it's an awesome time to get one from one of our Blackfern legends like Portia Woodman, Ruby Tui, or even the great Waterlad guest Kendra Coxedge. Remember that up to 70% of the proceeds do go to Kiwi Kids charities, and that if you use the code Waterlad, you can get $15 off your order, so go get amongst that. Also, the great Pomeroy's Coffee have created the perfect coffee bean for any lad and has packaged it up as Waterlad Coffee. Freshly roasted here in Nelson. You can even go and watch them get roasted at the coffee factory in Stoke if that's your thing. These are the best coffee beans in the market. They're available in whole bean or espresso or a plunger, and you can get 20% off your order by using the code LAD03. I'll leave a link in the description for easy access, so go get yourself your very own Waterlad coffee. Also, one of New Zealand's best harness trainers, Regan Todd from Todd's Racing, have an opportunity of a lifetime for you to own your very own piece of Waterlad in the form of the soon-to-be champion horse Waterlad. This guy looks a real treat and looks to have all the speed of his dad Lazarus. I'm hoping to get behind him soon so I can really feel the speed in the sulky. If you're interested, flick me a message on Instagram, or if horse ownership's not your thing, at least go follow Todd's Racing on Facebook, where he will give you an insight to his weekly runners. Anyway, grateful to all our sponsors, but let's get to this episode. Oh.
What a lad, what a lad, what a lad, what an absolute lad. What a lad, what a lad, what a lad, what an absolute lad.
Oh, what a lad. Well, it's not often you get someone who has literally died on the field while playing a game of rugby, but today that all changes. Today's guest is a legend of the South. He starred with the Southland Stags and the Highlanders for many years. He also spent some time over in Wales with the Newport Dragons, a brief stint in Melbourne with the Rebels, and of course he played for the New Zealand Māoris. On top of that, he's also coached the Stags Honda Heat in Japan, and he's now currently coaching the Tasman Mako. He is a seriously good lad. It is Hoani Macdonald. Welcome, Hoon.
Thank you very much. What an intro.
Mate, is this your first podcast?
Very first.
Is it? Mate, I was trying to find a podcast on you to sort of do a little bit of, research, but first podcast with a story like yours, that's incredible.
Oh, nah. Pleasure to be here.
Mate, your story, like literally dying on the field, you'd almost think a movie's been made out of it so far.
No, it's a funny thing, rugby. Like, time's moved on. Even the boys this year coaching them had no idea until kind of a few whispers went around. They're kind of like, "What's going on?" Yeah. So but it's awesome how rugby just kind of just flows, eh? Just moves.
Mate, it does move quickly, eh? Like you were a legend, 5 years ago, and now no one knows you.
A legend. It's a cool game. Like I even talked to the boys about like past players.
Yeah.
Past being like 5 years ago, and they wouldn't have a clue who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Some of these like young kids, like the Noah Hothams and stuff, like you ask them, "Oh, do you know Jonah Lomu or something?" He's like, "Oh, not really." Like, how do you not know this guy?
That's it. Mel Meninga. I remember I asked someone the other day, Mel Meninga, and they're like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, I didn't know Mel Meninga.
No, you're used by pretty quick, eh? But let's start from the start with you, Hoon. I know you know so many people. You got a massive family. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Invercargill, but my dad I had a mass family in Blenheim. So so that's how we ended up back here with all the whānau up there. And
your dad was a massive family, eh? What was it? How many kids? How many siblings did he have?
He was one of 21.
21.
Yeah, so it gets the net goes pretty wide. So I think we've got over 100 first cousins.
True.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy.
What was it about his, he had 21 kids, but 17 were with?
Well, because my granddad had 2 wives, sisters, so he had his first with the the first wife, and then 17 with the second. But the second wife was my grandmother's sister was looking after the kids, so she
and just fell in love.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Mate, it's madness. It's cool though. It's really really cool. But you kind of walk around Blenheim, and like everyone's your cousin. Like I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
So, like, and it's kind of crap because I grew up down south, but all my cousins up there, they know everyone.
Is like Hoani Macdonald any relation?
Yeah, so I think our grandparents are siblings. So my grandfather, I think his grandfather was siblings.
Oh, yeah. Would you know all your cousins? No chance.
No chance.
True. And how many siblings have you got?
So I'm one of, well, my dad was kind of saying like my granddad, he had 7, and then 7 with the first wife, and then my mum 3 with us, so he's got 10, and yeah, so it just keeps going and going and going. It's madness.
And where do you sit on it? Middle
the-
child of the 3?
No, I'm the baby.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so I've got 2 older sisters, but then I've got 4 older brothers and 3 other sisters, so...
And did you all live together, all grow up together?
Nah, so we moved down south. So
Oh, yeah.
we were down south.
The 3 of you and your 2 sisters? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then a couple of my brothers moved down there too, so I kind of grew up with them.
Oh, yeah.
But they're a bit older than me, so it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, I've got nieces and nephews that are older than me and stuff like this, and every time we have a few drinks or something like that, if I'm getting a bit cheeky, I start getting called uncle. Or whatever, so it's all good.
So how did you get into footy, and when did that all start?
I was a bit of a late bloomer, really. I grew up playing basketball and other sports, and then it's about 15 I started playing rugby, and that was just because the boys at school were talking about rugby on Saturdays, so I thought I'd give it a crack, and then I was tall and I could jump, and back then you couldn't lift in line out, so the old first thing coach of the year come on in, and away we went.
Were you good at basketball?
Oh, wow.
Oh, there he is.
Full on humility. No, I played rec basketball from about 17 for Southland for the senior men's, and then kind of went up, made a New Zealand divisional team and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was awesome. It's a cool game. I still try to play as much as I can because I can't play rugby. So, but yeah, I played basketball right through, even when I was playing rec for the Stags and stuff like that. I still play A-grade basketball and all that down home.
Was that sort of your dream at the time, to become a...
Oh, yeah, big time. So we had a really good group of mates that we got coached by the same coach and taught us all how to play really good basketball. So all of us all kind of hung out, and the dream was to head over to the States, and but yeah. It's just,
what stopped it? Do you reckon you could have if you went hard?
Yeah, nah. Would have probably been able to play EBL or something like that, but yeah, rugby kind of just took over early 20s. But I was still playing like I'd play club in the morning, seniors at night, or representing basketball at night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was good fun. And I think, looking back, that was probably how I became a professional rugby player, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the skills I learned in basketball.
Mate, load management or?
None of that. Well, it cracks me up. Load management, I get it, but mate, I was playing 4 games of basketball a week and going rugby on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And training twice a night, every night. You kind of just...
No soft tissue injuries.
Nah, just coming tuned to it, I reckon, eh? My legs are so skinny, mate, that I don't think I ever had a soft tissue injury.
So when did rugby take over and it started to become the main thing?
So I didn't play any age grade. I went to a small school in Invercargill, so there was no age grade footy or anything like that. I played Southland reps and stuff, but in terms of New Zealand, nah. And then I went to varsity, and then when I was at varsity, once I finished, I got an opportunity to play for the Stags then, and that's what started the ball rolling. So I'd done that season, then I made the Highlanders development, and then ended up being a replacement player for the Highlanders the year after. And then after that, so I played the game for the Highlanders. Mate, it's pretty special. And then got the phone call for New Zealand Māoris. They were going over to Canada a couple of weeks later, and I was so...
You're in it.
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah.
Did you feel comfortable, or how did you feel going into those environments?
Nah, not a lot. Well, not really. The reason I felt a bit at ease with it is because when I went up to the Highlanders the first time, I was with Clark and Daniel Quaid and a few of the boys from down south, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
They just put me in the flat with them, and so they were kind of running me through, and that experience was unreal.
Living with them.
Oh, no, just the whole, when you get that phone call to say, I need you to come up to Dunners.
Yeah.
Because we've got a couple of injuries
Yeah.
And I was just like punching the steering wheel on the car because I was talking in the car and I was just like so pumped. then got up there, and then Clark and him. So I'm super excited. And Clark, who's younger than me, he's been in that environment a couple of years, so he was kind of just tempering me down.
Yeah.
And then, went up to Auckland for a game, and shit, a few of the boys went down quite early, and I'm looking at Clark, he's looking at me like, oh shit, you're on here. And I was like, oh. Got out there, and you're playing against those guys you've been watching on TV, Case Muses and the like, and Kevin Milam and all this, Doug Howlett, and it was just unreal, eh?
And obviously went pretty well.
Well, I only played one half, and then after that, New Zealand Māori getting selected, and they kind of go on that ranking system. So, and then one of the boys, they were going to Canada, and one of the boys had a charge against them.
Oh, true.
So
couldn't go.
Yeah, couldn't go. So I was like, then I got the phone call from Matt Tapo, and the game pumped. But I think me and Jake Paranatai were the only non-Super Rugby players there, really.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing.
What is it like in that environment? Hear different stories, eh?
Yeah. Well, back then it was like really social, but the boys, so it was really social. But once you step over the line, the boys were on, and it was like, and they're keeping each other really accountable. Get off the field, and then there's a guitar straight away, and you're on. And so they had a really good balance, and but it was just like fun, like rugby was fun. The rugby we played was fun. They kind of wasn't like, there was a bit of structure, but if guys see a half a gap, then they're going for it, and everyone's kind of running off themselves. It was really good. As a young guy going in, I just got told just get out there and just get busy. So it was awesome.
And it was sort of all your teams you played for, the Stags, Highlanders, the Māoris, all those teams seem to have a pretty good balance of fun off the field as well, especially going from some of the stories from the likes of Newbie and Elliot Dixon and these sort of guys. Sounds like both those environments are pretty... there's plenty of stories that happen off the field. Yeah,
there's quite a bit that happens off the field. It's good fun. Really good fun. And then like really fond memories of my times with the Highlanders and the Stags and the Māoris and any team. But I suppose any team you play for, there's a certain level of fun that has to be had off the field, heap of young guys in an environment like that, like there's bound to be a few laughs. But it was like, we had some really good times down in the south. Like, that is real good times.
Any stand out for you? You would have had a few Shield successes and stuff, did you?
No, I missed that, I went over to Wales.
Oh, niggly.
It was a bit niggly. We had one opportunity, we played Auckland, and we should have won. Like, my feeling was should have won, we kind of cocked it up. But the year I went to Wales, the boys went up to Christchurch and got the job done. And I was sitting there watching it online, and it was really, really special. And I was rang up the coaches and just so pumped for them and the team, and it's wicked. But before that, we just used to just have a lot of fun. And what I noticed most was there was never really any trouble. But I think, mate, there was no camera phones either. So
harder to get caught.
The guys weren't silly enough. I don't know. I understand why guys kind of record all that stuff and post it. Seems a bit odd, but some of the stuff that the boys got up to, you're like, you can't do that anymore, mate.
So why'd you go to Wales? What was it?
I don't know. Like, it was just an opportunity to go. I was gonna bid on. Partner wanted to get out of Invercargill. So it's just to go see the world, because she's been with me for the whole time I was playing rugby, so it was about 6 or 7 years, and we're just kind of going from Dunedin, and we were kind of unsettled because you go live for 4 or 5 months in
you get
Dunedin.
Sick of it, eh?
Yeah, and so she was pretty keen to go over, and I was keen to go have a look around too. So opportunity came up, and away we went, and it was awesome, eh? Living over in the UK, travel, and just experiencing different environments is good.
Were you ever close to being an All Black?
I got a trial. I got injured, but I was unavailable for a trial. They had a trial in 2005 before the Lions tour, and so I was meant to trial on that. And then I got the next year I made the New Zealand the Junior All Blacks.
Oh yeah.
So I made that team, but I got rung up. I'm in the mix, and I think. I didn't get sold the dream, but I thought, shit, this could happen. So I kind of hung around for a couple more years, and in hindsight, you've got to pick your moments, and that might have been the time to take off. But I don't regret it. loved playing with the junior All Blacks team. We had a rock star team.
Yeah.
Rock star team was so much fun.
And then when you moved to Wales, how did you find it over there?
It was different. It was different. I was just, I suppose, the same. You go to different cultures and they just train differently. Their ethos is different. We were kind of the poor cousins of Welsh rugby. So it was quite interesting. Our training facilities and stuff it was quite strange. We were training on like about a 3/4 field. It was really weird in the middle of a kind of cycling velodrome.
So why'd you go to Newport? Like, what was the deciding factor to head to that club?
There was the opportunity that came up, and I suppose at that stage, we wanted to go over to Europe, and it was pretty much going to where the money was.
Yeah,
and that was the best deal on offer for like 2+1, and then but I got rung up pretty quickly by Paul Tito. He said, "Hoani, don't live in Newport, live in Cardiff." And I was like, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah, don't live in Newport."
Yeah.
And when I got there, I could see why. It's a pretty rough old
So
town.
you lived in Cardiff?
I lived in Cardiff,
true.
out the Cardiff Bay, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a bit of a commute, so we had about 45-minute commute every morning. I lived with a couple of lads that was also playing with, in the same apartment complex with a couple of lads who were playing in Newport. Webb and Tom Willis and Ben Castle, all those boys were there too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so that was pretty much the reason why in the Newport, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Going there now, I made some really great mates that I still keep in touch with now.
And on the field, was there a massive difference?
Yeah, it was slower, Like we played that Super Rugby season. I left. It was like pretty much any infringement at the ruck was just a free kick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it was just tap and go playing Super Rugby. So you're kind of always on the go. So as soon as you hear a whistle, you start kind of running or getting back. And then got over there, and then there was a trial they do in New Zealand. Got over there, and I was like, whistle, and I'm just kind of go. I was saying they're slowing it down, kick it to the corner or whatever. But so it was a lot slower. That's what I felt. But the way that they trained over there too was different. There was pre-season, not much fitness going on. It was all weights. They just wanted to be bigger, and so it was just a different game that they played.
Did it suit your style or not really?
Well, it did in the first year because I was a lot fitter, but then in my second year, they just kept trying to make me get bigger, and then I was kind of saying, "No, I need to be fitter. My game isn't the power game. It's about being a bit more loose or a bit more agile."
Yeah.
And they were kind of, "No, we want you to be big," so they put me on all this program and eating all this food and shit, and I started doing my own running.
Yeah.
And then the trainer caught me. And then
Caught you running.
Yeah. And he said, "No, can't do that." And so I just kept trying to just get any running I can. And after training, start doing extra sessions and stuff. And he's like, "Nah." And so my second year, I didn't really enjoy it that much, but still, they run you out there every week in Wales. So it was a good experience, but it was pretty tough at times too, really.
Yeah. And did you feel like you learnt heaps as a rugby player? Obviously, different styles. You're sort of into your own sort of bubble here in New Zealand until you go experience different styles of play.
Yeah, big time. And that's what I had to get my head around was, I think coming from New Zealand, you kind of think that this is the way. This is the only way. The only way. And so I was questioning everything we were doing. I was like, well, why are we doing it like that?
Yeah.
And then, isn't it easy to do it like this? And then they're like, I can see where you're coming from, but nah, you do it like this. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, so I kept asking questions. And then I got to the point where I was just like, nah, I'm not even going to bother. And so let's just do it.
Yeah.
And it was all right, like we were kind of punching above our weight in a couple of seasons. So, but I do think that we could have done things better.
And then why did you return home? What was the reason to return home? You'd made your money? Yeah,
well, there was a few things going on. The old lady got a bit sick, and you're like 30-something hours away over there. So we kind of started an opportunity to come to go to Melbourne. So we signed there, and then I'm only a couple of hours away. So that was a big part of the reason. And then from there, we just ended up coming back to New Zealand after that. We'd kind of... Yeah, we've done what we want to do. Got a heap of travel. We got to see the world, and had a really good time too. So, it was good.
How was Melbourne? How was the Rebels?
Melbourne's awesome.
Yeah.
Rebels was awesome. I was there for the first year. And
Was this the very first year of the Rebels?
Yeah,
True.
the first year. And, mate, they spared no expense on that year. It was funny. We had all these dinners and, like, we were like, what's going on here? They shouted all the families out to this resort and everyone's into it. And
No $20 dinners yeah.
No $20 dinners, mate. It was like $20 drinks kind of things. It was insane.
True.
And we were all kind of like, is this the way it is?
Yeah.
You know, like, is this Australian rugby or something like that? But apparently no. And then after I left, I was talking to the boys, how good is it? And they're like, mate, they've tightened it right up. So, no, I think we got spoiled those first couple of years. But we had some real legends of Australian rugby too they had like Sterling Mortlocks and Rob McQueen was the coach and Al Campbell. There was quite a few boys in there that were like Wallaby legends. So they had to kind of like look after them and treat them really well. And it was the first time I was in Melbourne too, and Melbourne's like a pretty cool city.
Yeah.
And they would have wanted to do it right. New stadium, new everything. That was the first year of Amy Park. So it was awesome.
What was Sterling Mortlock like?
Mate, he's good dude, really good dude. He's out there though.
Is he?
He's out there, Snorky. Yeah. So, but just on the field, super intense.
Yeah.
And then off the field, just not who you'd think you'd be talking to. Yeah.
Oh, true.
But awesome dude. Like they all were. All the Aussie boys was really good fun.
And what other Kiwis did you have joining that first year? There's a few, eh?
Yeah. Kevy O'Neill, he was there. Yoda. So I forget a couple. But there was like Gareth Dowell from Wales. He was there. Mike Lipman.
Oh, yeah.
He was there. And then they got a couple of leggies in and stuff. So Jared Safi, he was playing for St George Illawarra at that stage, and he was in there. It was a bit of an eclectic bunch.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That, Mike Lipman, saw a video on him the other day, actually, and it was pretty sad to see what he's going through with his dementia. Did he have any signs or anything of it earlier on? No.
Not at all, eh? Like, Lippo was a good dude, man, like really awesome team man. Hard case, good set of choppers on him. And but he was, it's just sad hearing all that. You know, that's something that's starting to become a bit more apparent too now.
Yeah. With you or no? How do you feel about it?
Sometimes I feel like it is, you know, like it's, I don't know, like when I was playing, you got a knock, and if you could kind of shake it off, then you're good to go and you keep going. Yeah. Sometimes I think, you know, like when I think back, shit, I should have walked off the field then, like knowing myself that I wasn't right. Yeah. But you want to keep playing, and then even after the game, you're not right, but you'll kind of hide it so that you get to play the next week. Yeah. And I think what they're doing now, and the players being more aware of it, I think it's awesome because it's a big issue, and we've got to look after ourselves, and players got to look after themselves. So hopefully they keep making progress in that area too to kind of make it more safer.
How many concussions do you reckon you had? Heaps.
Yeah, well, I reckon I had a few. I reckon I had quite a few.
Over 20? Yeah. Yeah.
I reckon.
Easy.
Yeah.
50?
Well, I don't know, 50. Can't remember. But yeah, I shouldn't be laughing about it. But it's, it's an issue. It's an issue, but hopefully they get it right and we can look after the players so the game's a bit safer for them too, because we want to see all the boys out in the field. Like we had some issues with it this year with the Marco. And
we had heaps, eh? What was it, like 14 concussions or something?
Crazy, eh? Crazy. I think we can coach it a bit better. Like me looking back, I reckon we can. Yeah. To try help them out, help the boys out. But it's a physical collision dominated game. Yeah. And sometimes the boys just aren't going to get it right, hey?
What is the key to avoiding it? Obviously, there'll be a few rugby players listening to this, so you could save about 1,000 lives just from this advice.
No, I reckon you've got to get your tackle technique right, and I reckon there's something you train like we do. We tell the boys you've got to get in front of people, you've got to stop them, win the game line. But I think the more they work on their tackle technique to get that right, the safer they become. And you're not always going to get it right. Like that's just the contact sport. But I think the more that we can train good habits and tackle technique, clean out the same, I think the better off the boys will be.
Is there a trend that you've seen from players around their technique which has caused the knockouts? I don't know, might be dropping the head or something like that.
I think that's a big one. Dropping, like, boys kind of, like, they spot a guy, they get in front, and then they just kind of duck and just go.
Yeah.
And, like, once you drop your head, you lose sight of the guy you're trying to tackle.
Yeah.
And if he moves a bit, then you're not going to get it right, and you might not get it right by swinging around him and hit someone else, or he runs straight into you. So I think the longer you keep your eyes open and your head up, the better you'll be.
That's it.
Yeah, I honestly reckon.
Yeah.
Because I was like talking to a couple of boys, and I was quite surprised that they didn't, like, when they watched it, like, on review, I asked them for their thoughts. Like, is there anything you can do better? And they were kind of, oh, no, I've done everything perfectly. And I go, do you reckon you can keep your head up a bit? And they're like, oh, never really thought of that. But, you know, like, I don't know, it's something that I think can be taught from a young age too. I think even the junior coaches, first team coaches, they've got a responsibility to the players to help them be better in that area.
Well, you're teaching the masses through the podcast. This is the way to save the lives. But then from the Rebels, so you did 1 or 2 years at the Rebels?
Just 1 year at the Rebels, and then come back, and I jumped back in with. I was a wider group member with the Highlanders, but I was about 33, 34 then. Still
feeling good
at that stage?
Yeah.
I felt good. I felt fit, but the game was like, I came back here, like, at the Rebels was okay, but when I came back to the Highlanders, man, it was so fast. Couldn't believe it. And then the expectation on tight forwards and the, you know, like, what they need to be doing, I was like, holy shit, like, this is really changed. But I really enjoyed it because I think the game got a lot simpler, but man, the expectation was unreal. It was, you know, and that's what it is now. It's just getting more and more.
So was it way faster from when you left, you reckon, with the, you know how you're talking about those quick taps and all that? Do you think the game really sped up, or did you going over there, you sort of changed your pace because you're playing a slower brand? Or
I think it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think I definitely got a bit older, and I didn't feel as quick as when I came back as when I left or was fit. But also, I just felt the game is just getting faster and faster and faster, and the boys are getting bigger, and it's I don't know when it's going to stop, man.
Yeah.
It's work it. Like, mate, just watching some of the boys training and how we're, like, making them shift around without expectation.
Yeah.
Wow.
How do you reckon you'd go now in your prime? You'd still dominate?
Of course. No, oh, mate, I don't know. Like, I look back on my career, and I think, you know, because I was a bit of a late bloomer, I don't know if I would have played pro rugby. I reckon I would have just kind of gone through the cracks, and you know, like, because, you know, boys get picked at 19 years old now to play this game, and, like, play Super Rugby at 20.
Yeah. You
know, there's getting, and if you're not in that system, it's, you know,
hard to get in.
Hard to get in.
And then obviously the big moment of your career, the heart attack on the field. So this is when you were playing for Southland. How old were you? Must have been, what, 34?
34.
And it sort of, what do you remember about it? Talk me through it.
What do I remember? I remember there's big blackouts from that day. I remember warming up for the game, so I don't really remember the trip up or anything like that or going to the ground, but I remember the warm-up. And then during the warm-up, Cabbage and Whopper decided to chuck a bloody contact drill into our warm-up for some reason. I was like, what? And then so I'd done the first drill, and it got banged in the head, and I was like, whoa, just kind of got shaken up. And then so I looked around, I was like, oh, no, I'm out. Like I was saying, I walked over and looked over at the post, and here's Tim Boy's doing his leg swings, as he always done when there was a bit of contact training. So I walked over with him, and I looked at him, and I was like shaking my head, and he's like, oh, I'm not going near that. So it was just the forwards actually that were doing this. And then so we started leg swinging on the post, and then I remember playing, and we had a really good plan. So what I remember, we had a really good plan around the line-out D, and it was working against counties in the semi. And then about a bit into the game, I remember playing, just been really out of breath.
Yeah.
And then got to a line-out, and I was just like, oh, come on, man, like, you fitter than this?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And then done the line-out, and then we were making our way to the next ruck, and then someone dropped it, so I was kind of halfway there, And I just dropped on my knee, and I was like, oh, man, I feel shit. And then the doc come on and said, what's going on? I said, oh, no, I don't know, I just can't breathe. And he's like, oh, you got a head knock? I go, nah, I haven't got a head knock. I just can't breathe. I don't know what's going on. And then he's like, oh, we'll take you off for a head knock. And I was like, I was kind of getting wild. I was like, no, I haven't got a head knock. I just can't breathe. I just need to get my breath. And then he's like, oh, no, I can't, we'll get you off. And then I stood, and I remember, no, I'll be right. And I stood up and went to walk to the scrum. And then just, that's it. That's all I remember.
True. Collapse.
And then I woke up a couple of days later in the hospital with wires all hanging out of me and just kind of looking around like, what the hell's going on?
Couple of days later.
Yeah, so they put me into from what I've been told, so on the field, the paramedic was there, and it was all the stars kind of aligned. All the stars kind of aligned for me to be still here talking to you. But then the paramedic kind of got me off the field, and then something wasn't right, and he was trying to figure it out. And so he just thought, oh shit, I'll just put the pads on him, see what happens. And I said, shock him. So he shocked me. And then they were doing a bit of CPR on the sideline. And then they got me in the ambulance. And then there was a paramedic there that put me into a coma, got me to the hospital, and then I was in a coma for a couple of days. And it was like a 1%er, like, to still be here. Like,
True, 1%.
Yeah, that was, because if that had happened anywhere else, gone. Like, if I'd have gone for a run up on a hill or something, I wouldn't be here. But just really lucky, and like even the paramedic said, because I still keep in touch with the paramedic, Gary, if you're out there, and he said, even if it had even if it had happened at another ground or wherever it was,
True,
the chances aren't that high.
All right, that's so scary, eh?
Yeah, yeah. But it was scary for everyone else. It was weird. Because
it's been scary for your wife and kids.
Yeah. Well, they were down in, like, my boys, I had 2 boys at that point, and one was 1 and 2.5. And then, but she was down in Cargill.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in Pukekohe. And, like, when I think about what she had to go through, because she couldn't get up that day, she had to wait till the next day. And then they were telling her, and then even when I got to the hospital, I still only had 20% chance of surviving the night, kind of stuff. So it was pretty manic.
Right.
But I was having to sleep. So like, everyone said, "Oh yeah, how'd you go?" And I was like, "Man, I was out to it." Everyone else went through all this. And then when I woke up and got told, that was pretty tough. But yeah.
Was it literally for you? Was it just did it feel like a sleep? Is that what it feels like? Because obviously you literally died. Did you feel your spirit or anything leave? How religious are you? Like?
No, I'd like to say, have a big story about seeing the light in the tunnel.
Met God.
Yeah. And he said it's not your time. But no, I was kind of like I was just out to it, and then. But I just remember waking up and seeing my rugby manager, Rob Nichol, was there, and it was the doctor, and wife was gutted because she said I woke up and she was there, and I remember she said, "Oh, you were talking to me about stuff," and I was like, I can't remember. She's gutted that she wasn't the first person I seen.
Rob Nichol
was there, and then it was pretty out of it, but. I went through the emotions afterwards about what had happened, because I was just like, shit. And they told me, "Oh, you've had a heart attack." And I was like, "What? No way. No chance." And then they were kind of getting all emotional, and I was noticing, because then I'd go, "Nah, no chance." And I'd be like real angry and down like this. And then I go, "Oh." And then I'd look at myself and I go, "What's going on?" So I was like a goldfish for about 5 minutes. They'd tell me, I'd go through those emotions. And then they'd have to tell me, they told me about 4 times.
Sure.
Because my brain was just firing back up.
Yeah. And did you have any other sort of side effects from it, like initially? Nah.
So there was a bit of memory loss. I just had to take it slow. Well, obviously I got an implant in, and it, so if my heart gets in a bit of strife, it gives me a shock. But I couldn't. So once I got that implanted, contact sports were out, and then kind of just be aware. Be aware, really.
Do they know what caused it?
Nah, that's the annoying part. So they don't really know. Oh, like, there's definitely an issue, but they can't really say what caused it. They've done it. I've done every test under the sun, but it's just it's just something that I've got to live with, and I am living with it. It is what it is. Just kind of move on.
Has it changed your life? Like, how's it affected your life in terms of what you can do other than contact sport? Like everything else normal?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like I still try to train and keep healthy and eat as good as I can. Train to eat is kind of my motto. Really pushing myself to try. Like I can't do like a marathon or like train. I started training for a marathon a few years back, and like went for a checkup with the doctor, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, what have you been up to?" And I said, "Oh, mate, I'm actually training to do a marathon." And he goes, "Stop doing that. That's probably the worst thing you could do. It's just constant pressure on your heart. What are you thinking?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I had to stop doing that. So, but then still just try to stay active. Play basketball over in Boone with a few of the cousins. We play in the competition over there and touch and stuff like that. So it hasn't really stopped me from doing too much. It's more just an awareness, really. Yeah.
Are you allowed to get your heart rate up, or is that sort of something you're trying to avoid?
No, I'm allowed to get it up, but every now and then it just, for some reason, it just triggers and I can't get it under control without just stopping. So I got a shock the other day playing basketball. Just don't know why. It's just I had a weird feeling all day, and so when I get those weird feelings, that's when I've got to stop. But I enjoy playing, so I try to get past it. And when my heart can't get back under control by itself, then I'll get a shock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happens once you get your shock?
It's like a breath of fresh air, like my whole lungs can fill up, because when it happens, it's kind of like I'm panting. I can't get a full breath in. Yeah. And then boom, and let's say, and then you kind of, but it kind of sends you one, so you kind of, it's like being punched in the chest when it happens. But it feels good afterwards. So it's kind of like, but it sucks, because you know it's coming. Like now, I know it's coming. Yeah. And I'm sitting there just waiting, and then boom. It's kind of. But no, it's just something that just you have to live with.
Hey, it's crazy. So, are you in any more risk now of suffering another heart attack, or now that you've got that in place, are you probably just as safe as a normal person?
Oh, I'd say Neon be. That's what the doctor's saying. Neon's safer than, because if I have a normal heart attack, it will just shock me. Like once my heart slows down or anything like that, it'll just shock me back on, or something. So if something else is happening, then I'm okay. But so no extra risk other than the condition that I've already got. Yeah, which they don't know, but there's definitely something going on.
So what's the options for the condition? Have they got any ideas what it could be? No, nothing.
No. So I go into like atrial fibrillation. So the top chamber of my heart just starts pulsing and flittering. Yeah. And it doesn't get a full pump of blood through the system. So it's just, so one time it happened, years ago, I thought I could get under control. Like I said to my wife, mate, because I got a shock. Yeah. And then I said, if it had given me another 30 seconds, I reckon I would have got it back under control. I just need to just calm down. Oh, yeah. And then, so she went and asked the lady that was looking after me down in Vicale, because I got a monitor. And she said it got up to about 360 beats.
Your heart did?
Yeah. So it was just pumping. So then, she came back and said, "You're an idiot. If you think you can get that under control, then you've got no chance." So then that's when I realised, I have got an issue. And so it was kind of it was good for me, really. Yeah. Because before then I was kind of really in denial about what had actually happened.
Did you know you had any sort of heart difference when you were training? Obviously, you probably wore heart rate monitors and stuff. Was your heart rate ever way over 100% or whatever? No,
I never really noticed anything at all, really. I don't know. I was definitely slowing down. By the time I got that photo that was up on the on the preview for the potty, was that was, I think, one of my defining moments when I knew, shit, man, my time's coming around real quick. I remember that moment chasing Artie, thinking, and I always prided myself being able to catch, especially other forwards, being able to catch people. And then I was putting it in, and I remember watching a review of it, and then seeing I was watching through tape, and I was the review of the game, and I'm putting it in, and he's kind of looking around smiling. That's when I knew, man, time is coming. Shit.
Mate, Artie, he'd do that to most forwards, or pretty much any forward and most backs, to be fair. So you're not alone. But then obviously after that incident, rugby was over. did you have any plans in place for post footy, or how hard was that for you to go from instant retirement?
I'd started my last season with Stags. I started kind of going to the coaching realm. Signed back with the Stags, and then talked to David Henderson, who was the coach at that time. Then I'd always talked about coaching after rugby, and so kind of went back in as a set piece coach. So started doing that as I was playing, and then so the year after kind of just fell into it. But I was working in the marketing department at Rugby Southland too, helping out there, and trying to sell the dream to the local businesses and stuff. So, but that was a good experience too, like knowing actually where the money to put the team on the field is coming from. It's not just you turn up and all your gear's all kind of always going to be there.
Yeah,
a lot gets taken away if you don't have that sponsorship from the businesses.
So when did you think coaching? Did you know you wanted to coach when you were playing, like early on?
Yeah, I did. I talked before I went overseas. I talked to Simon Cohane and David Henderson about it. Because I had a real interest in how you can kind of be quite strategic on the field within how you play, and just certain skills and stuff like that need to be taught or coached. And so I always had an interest in it. And then by the time I came back, I just kind of fell into it. Really, I was stoked. It was cool.
And then what was the progression? So you did that 1 year when you were playing
and coaching.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
It's real tough because you've got to live by what you kind of do and everything like that. So, and then the year after, went straight into coaching, which I thought would have been easier than what it was, even the years following down south, because you're still playing, still coaching the guys that you've been playing with.
Yeah.
And I suppose I had a bit of a reputation down there, I always enjoyed myself, especially before I went overseas. Always enjoyed the off-field antics, and, like with the boys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once you go into coaching, it's kind of you're going to the dark side there. You kind of try to rein all that in, and you kind of question why people are doing it, but then they'll find it back. Well, hold on, Hoani, you were with us
last 10 years. You've been doing this.
So then. My comeback is always, the game's changed. But that was pretty tough. And the more you keep coaching, the further away you kind of have to pull yourself away from the players, which I found tough too at that point. Yeah. So those first couple of years, in terms of the relationships with the boys, was kind of hard. I reckon. And
you became head coach pretty quickly too, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, about 3 years being assistant. So one with Goof, one with Dave Henderson, and two with Brad Moore.
Yeah,
he was head coach, and I was assistant with him. And then the following year, head coach, which I think I was a bit naive going into that, thinking, it's a big job, man. And I'd only been coaching a few years. So looking back, I was like, man, I reckon that happened pretty quick, probably too quick.
Yeah,
but you learn from those experiences as much as you do the good ones.
And how was it with the players? Obviously, you were pretty good mates with a lot of those guys. You played many years with them, so then having to have these tough conversations with, changing the culture and these sort of things. I know you were great mates with Jamie McIntosh, who's been on the podcast, and I think, was it you who made the decision to sort of let him go from Southland, which must have been a pretty tough conversation?
It was really tough, and looking back, I didn't handle that as well as I could have. And that was, like my coaching age. It was really tough that. And then still to this day, I don't know if I got 100% right or handled the aftermath right. I definitely didn't handle the conversation with Jamie well. And it was, because it was awkward, man. He was such a good mate.
Yeah.
Really, really good mate. I played so much rugby with Whopper, and just to have that conversation, it was tough. It was really tough. And then also with, because Jamie was, mate, he done so much. And then I think I took that for granted about how much he was actually doing with the team.
Yeah.
And how much he was driving and everything. But then on the other side was no one was growing. Like no one was growing because, mate, they'd all just, no, Whopper will take care of that in terms of the leadership and all the on-field, off-field stuff, because Whopper was all over it.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of part of, most of the reason why I thought, if we can create more leaders, they're not going to grow.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I got 100% right, but, that's just, you learn from those situations.
How was he in the convo? How did he handle it?
Mate, he was actually really good. I tried to, it was never about. I think a lot of people thought it was about Jamie as a person, but it was never about Jamie as a person. It was about what I thought was going to be right for the program at that stage, and that's where I might have been a bit naive in thinking that these other boys are ready to step up into the void that he'd left behind.
Yeah,
because it was massive, man. Like he's Mr. Stag, and it was tough. It was tough. Jamie's a really, really good human, and he'd do anything for anyone. Yeah, and that's why it was tough. Hey, it was tough, and it's still tough.
Right, sounds tough. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I even think about it now, and I'm just like far out. It's just one of those things in rugby that, especially going to coaching. Yeah, it sounds okay until you have to have those conversations with people, and like lads that you kind of, especially when you play with them. I think like being in that situation was tough because I played so much rugby with Whopper, like Stags and Highlanders.
And then who was the lucky candidate to take on Mr. Stag's role?
It was Braden Mitchell, the scratcher, and he done a really good job with the tools. And again, I that's me as a young head coach. Probably didn't set him up as well as I could have too. Like thinking back, there's a lot more things I could have put in place to try. But there was we had a really young, inexperienced team down there, and it was pretty tough on Scratch. Pretty tough. It was a tough couple of seasons.
It's tough, and it must have been tough on you too, eh? Like young coach. What was the region like about the decision as well? They obviously all loved Whopper. Were they all supportive, or did you cop a bit of heat?
Oh, I copped a bit. Yep, copped a bit, but that's just part of it.
Yep.
It's part of the game that we're in, and people are passionate about it, and people are passionate about the players too. Mate, there was definitely some backlash, and there was some that just said, "Well, let's just get on with it."
Did you ever question coaching?
Oh, yep. A couple of years, especially after it, because I'd done a couple of years head coaching, and then went over to Japan. But before leaving, I was like, man, and my wife was watching me going through all this. It was like tough. Like those couple of seasons down there. Yeah, and then we went over to Japan, and awesome, eh?
This is coaching.
Just awesome fun.
Yeah.
Awesome new environment. Totally, because I've been in Southland too the whole time, and I think going back down there and then coaching there, I was still back in that bubble. I think going to a totally different environment, even like coming up here, you're away from all that, and you're just starting off a new sheet. Yeah. So going over to Honda with Danny and Craig, and also, mate, we had 3 awesome years over there with my family, and totally different culture and everything. Was wicked.
How did your kids find it? Because they were a bit older at this point, eh? How did they find living in Japan and school, I guess?
Yeah, so they went to Japanese school, so by the time we left, they were 3/4 fluent in read, write and chat.
Read, write?
Yeah, it was awesome. They were really, really good. They've kind of lost a bit now. We've been back for 18 months, but my girl went to the kindergarten over there, so she knew a bit, but the first couple of weeks going to school were a bit tough because they went to a school where no one spoke English.
Mate, it's scary. It must have been scary for them.
Yeah, and we were I was walking away going, looking at my wife going, holy this is full on for them. Yeah. And so they gutted through it, man, and then they come out the other side and they were awesome. But it was such a safe environment. Like they were walking to school every day for they'd walk down the street for 15 minutes. And big days for them. They'd be leaving about 7:30, getting home about 4:30.
Was that the school hours?
Big school hours.
Sure.
Yeah, man. They'd come home and then they've got an hour's homework and stuff.
Parents' dream.
They get back here and then they're like now it's a parents' nightmare. No homework or anything like that. It was cool for them. Cool for my wife. Just cool. It was awesome experience. Yeah.
And how did you find the coaching? Obviously, it's different rugby, and you're working with different sort of athletes. So, how did you find it?
Yeah, it is different. Obviously, the language barrier kind of hinders a few things, but the more I felt, the more language I knew, the more they understood it, and then the easier it becomes, because you're not kind of waiting on, because everything takes twice as long during the conversation. You have to be quite directive in what you're coaching, so you have to have the basics really nailed down and the detail around the basics, and they want to know what I do here, but what if this happens? What if this happens? So you kind of, and we got to a good point where we got to the point where we were like, well, that's rugby, you've got to make a decision about this, and so you teach them the different decisions they can make, and then they got a lot better. And some of the things, you just take that decision away from them and just say, just do that. If this happens, just do that. Just don't let that happen.
Yeah. And they nod and they do it.
Yeah, they just get it done. They get it done. The foreigners in the team, they're kind of like looking at you, questioning like this, and you're like, just get it done. You know, like, it was interesting coaching. The foreigners were quite. Well, we had a really good bunch of lads.
Who'd you have?
Mano Lemeki, who's a he's a
lad.
Yeah, good dude. Sean Treby, Baden Kerr, Aidan Toa, had a couple of Saffers, Argy Snyman. There's a couple still there now. Matthias Basson. Yeah, it was good. Matt Duffy was there. I'm probably going to forget a couple, and they're going to be at me, but Dion Stegman. So it was like a really good crew, and they were all in. Yeah, it was a good bunch.
So why'd you leave?
Kids were getting a bit older, and we kind of wanted my boy to. He was going to be starting in high school soon, so make some mates and then come back. We decided to come back his last year of primary school, so he could go to intermediate and make some friends, and so we moved back to Blenheim. So she was all go. And
did you have any plans when you moved there? Was the coaching gig part of that move?
No. So we moved back. We bought a property in Blenheim, and then it all kind of just morphed into being here with the Mako, which is so much fun.
Hey, how good?
Oh, it's awesome, eh? It's honestly, it's a really, really special environment I got here.
Yeah, how's it compared to, obviously you've been in a few, how's it compared to other environments?
Oh, it's right, like, they just have so much, there's just so much fun to be had here, and but then once you step across the chalk, it kind of changes, which is wicked. I think the culture that's apparent is one where they can challenge each other but still kind of like have a laugh too, you know. But it's just the energy. That's the difference, I reckon. Just the energy that's around, you know, like, oh, it's just fun.
Mate, you get up and everyone's Hoon, every meeting, they love it.
But it's just like, you know, like the way that the S&C guys just do, you know, like the week that was, and then it's for the boys, and just these little wee bits and pieces that just keep, you know, keep putting time into, and it's special. You know, I don't know if the boys realise how special. I think the guys that play Super, I think they do, because they go away to these other environments and then they come back to this, and you can see the enjoyment that they have coming back, you know, when they all turn up. And it's so accommodating. Yeah. That's what I really enjoyed, you know, they're so welcoming into environments, and it's just good fun.
And you mentioned your vineyard, so how did that come about? Like, had you ever planned on getting into that? No. I've got a few cousins over in Blenheim, as we talked about. That. One of them's quite heavy into the industry, and he said there was an opportunity to buy a house, because he's always talked about me moving up. And said there's an opportunity to get a house up here and with some vines on it. So I thought, give it a crack. And I came up and had a few visits over during COVID before we went back to Japan, and then it all kind of worked out, and so we just moved back with the thing of just kind of maybe living a normal life. You know, I didn't know whether I was going to be coaching or not. You know, like, and just having this in the background is just chipping away. And did you just learn on the run, or? Yeah. So he's got his own vineyard. My cousin's got his own vineyard, so I'd kind of work closely with the guy that's managing his vineyards, and then he'd tell me so you can do this, or you can pay someone to do it. So we try to do everything that we can. Yeah. Certain things we can't. So they just you just pay the bills on that, but it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, and especially in summertime when all the leaves are out and stuff like that around our house and stuff. Extremely lucky.
Yeah. And where do the grapes go? Like, what do you do with them? Do you?
I just sell them. So they go into a co-op that produce wine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they're all the grapes pretty much get sent over to the States. Sorry, it gets made into wine here, and then goes over to States. Yeah.
True. So you can't drink your wine in New Zealand.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. Well, no, I've got a few bottles. I should have bought you one.
Oh,
sorry,
mate.
mate. I apologise. I'll try to get one.
I'll try and sell some.
Yeah. But they do produce a little bit, but about 30% of that group, 30% gets sold in New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
But 70% goes over to the States. But yeah, so it's pretty cool though. It's like a co-op of all like grape growers that are all buying into like a team kind of environment, which is cool.
So how do you do it when you're coaching? Obviously, you're coaching over here in Nelson, living over in Blenheim, your vineyard's over in Blenheim. So how does it all work? You're never over there.
Nah, I think most of it, the good thing is that it's in the season when it's off, so there's not a lot I can do during the rugby season.
Yeah.
But I teach my wife how to drive because I bought a tractor. I bought a tractor and then I had to learn how to drive a tractor. So I learned how to drive a tractor, and then this season I've had to teach the wife how to drive a tractor. And so we can do stuff like weed spraying under the rows and stuff like that, and mowing the grass when it needs. And so, man, she's all over it. She's a weapon.
Oh, how good.
Yeah. So it's time to put my feet up. I think.
What is the plans for you? Obviously, had Dan Perrin on a couple of maybe months ago, and he told me he wanted to be a Crusaders coach, and he's got that now. So, where does the coaching dreams take you?
Well, mate, I'm loving what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
I'm loving and I'm not really looking too far ahead.
Well, that's easy. I can make that happen.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. Like everyone has aspirations, and so, but where that is, I'm not too sure. You know, like it's a fickle old job coaching. You know, like there's 20 something players on the field, but there's only 2 coaches or 3 coaches in the stands. So, you know, if opportunities come up, obviously I jump at them. But also, we moved back from Japan for a bit more family life, so I'll have to work in with that too. Yeah. So I don't know, mate. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah, it does get tough with kids, eh? Like if you do get an offer overseas, whether it is worth moving the family and relocating. Like if a Japan gig came up for a couple of years, would you take your kids, or how that all works?
Yeah. So they're at an age now where it'd be quite tough to take them over, like overseas or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I know my wife pretty keen to set up roots, but you know, when opportunities come, as you know, it's pretty hard to turn down. Yeah. So there'll be a few conversations, and everything has to work into what you kind of need. You know, I wouldn't jump at something that I didn't think was going to be beneficial for us as a family.
It's I almost feel like coaching's a single man's game, eh?
Yeah.
Just, go wherever you want.
Or until your kids, like, so you've got a family, until they're older, then
finish school.
You finish school or something like that, and you can kind of take off. So, but that's not another 11 or so years for me, for my daughter. So, I don't know. It's as I said, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So, long may they continue.
Mate, and I know Tassie love having you here. So, anyway, as always, we've gone to our questions. Instagram has come in humming with questions for Hoon. Tane Robinson sent in plenty. First question is, how'd you get the nickname Hoon? So, obviously, it's a common name for you, eh? Everyone knows you as Hoon.
Yeah. I think it was, I had a teacher, this is when I was like 11 at intermediate, and she couldn't pronounce my name, even though I was kind of walked her through it. She just couldn't get it. And so she started calling me Hoon for some reason, or Hoony or something like this. And then I was like, oh, well, it's better than butchering, like, that'll do. Let's just, and then that's when it kind of came out. Yeah, I had a teacher that couldn't pronounce Hoani for some reason. Just couldn't get it. So Hoon, and then after that, I think the boys, because even all my mates used to, growing up, they always used to call me Hoani, but then playing sports and stuff like that, it's far easier to say Hoon, and so that was just, and it just stuck after that.
Sure,
really.
Right, love it. Nickname Hoon. Okay, next one. Oh, this one came from Highlanders head coach Clark Dermody. What'd you say to Nima Telata after one scrum?
Oh, that was awesome. So we were playing the Stags. We were playing with the Lions. For the Stags, and then we kind of put one on them and dominated in the scrum. And I kind of hopped up. I started kind of mouthing off at Namir, saying, "Oh, All Black my ass," and kind of started just kicking the shit out. And then I remember Clark just turned around and just said, "Shut the fuck up," and I was like looking at him like, "What? No, man, you're good, man. We got him." And then I remember just looking at Namir, and he's like just looking at us, staring wide-eyed, and like, okay. And then, man, he put us under the pump after that. And after the game, Clark just turned around and said, "Don't ever say anything." Anyway. So there was quite a good lesson learned there. Well, Clarkie was under the pump after that. Of course, I'm just behind him, just questioning why we're not dominating. But, push harder. Shoulder down, mate.
Right shoulder down, that's it. Oh, that's good stuff. Okay, next one. Hardest opponent to tackle?
I played Rapini a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
It's Manic on the wing, because I used to find myself out on the wing quite a bit.
Did you get one-on-one with him?
I was one-on-one. He was one-on-none, pretty much. He just kind of ran straight through me. I had no chance. He was something else. But Cephas are pretty, mate, you knew where they were coming, so it was kind of just had to man up with Cephas. I really enjoyed playing South Africans because they just run it straight. So you knew where they were coming. But it was the big guy, like big fellas like Sione Lawaki, and where they kind of run straight at you, and then they can put a bit of footwork or just throw you around like a rag doll. Though he was tough.
Yeah,
he's
a
real
big
tough.
boy. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, best pro that you played with? You would have played with some pros.
Yeah, Clark was pretty professional.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah. I learned a lot off Clark, and it was weird because he was younger than me.
Oh yeah.
So, but he'd been in a professional environment like a couple of years before me, and he was right on. I probably could have followed him a bit more, just led a bit more during my career. But he was. That's what I always knew about Clark, because he was right on in terms of how he handled himself off the field and on the field. Yeah,
always going to be a good coach.
Always going to be a good coach. Just quite steady and very focused. So it was good.
Clark Dermody led. Okay, this one's from Corey Flynn. Have you managed to find the bottom of your deep pockets in retirement? What's this sort of heck? Mate, you're always shouting the voice.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to dispel that rumour that you're being tired. Nah.
When did that start?
It started in mate, I'm always one. If it's free, it's me, man. I'm on. And so, what was the saying? If it's free, it's me, and I'll take 3. So, it was always kind of like, so there'd be free beers going along, and man, I was always in for free beers. Had a few beers, and I remember back in the day, the Valent team used to follow the A's.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but we'd always be done before them, so we'd always be out before them, and just about every place we went to, they had a bar tab at some place. We'd find out, we'd go to their bar tab. So we were all drinking free beers and stuff like this, and I think they got a bit aggrieved with us, but I don't know, it's just something that's kind of come out of nowhere, really. I'm always up for a bargain. Yeah. Always up for a bargain. You're silly if you're not. That's my thing.
Oh, mate, I've lived under that as well, to be fair. Makes no sense to pay for beers if you can get them free.
Mate, it makes no sense to pay for anything if you get it free.
That's it.
You don't want to be stealing, of course, but he's always at me, Corey, about being tight, and I'm just sitting there and just shake my head, but it's definitely a rumour that has spread around, and I'm trying to dispel it, mate. I'm trying to.
Mate, another one from him is, why are you such a drinking game Nazi? And I have seen you in your element in this. Yeah,
that's another thing where I kind of, I enjoy a drinking game. Yeah, and rules are meant to be kind of obeyed, mate. It's only, so I've always just enjoyed playing drinking games, or any game really. Just kind of competing, and it's not just drinking games, mate. If we're playing con games or something like that too, I was a trainer's nightmare. Yeah, just add them. Yeah, drinking games has always been a funny thing. Like when I first started playing, mate, it was massive, and I guess we played quite often, and it was a few beers. But I got back one year, and then no one wanted to play drinking games, and I was okay with that. I remember the coach coming up to me Simon Kahane came up to me and said, "Oh, mate, the boys don't want to play drinking games." That was a big thing. And now because we were playing Super, so we missed the pre-season stuff.
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, the boys don't want to play drinking games." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I'm looking at him like, "Why? Well, why are you telling me this?" And he goes, "Oh, you were the one that drives them all." I go, "No, I'm not." I was saying, he goes, "Yes, you are." And I said, "I'm not. I'm the one that will play once someone starts playing." But I used to be an asshole, so we used to play labels.
Yeah.
And then my first drink, I'd always just do a label on purpose.
Yeah.
And I'd sit there and then someone would go, "Label!" Like I was saying, I go, "Okay." But if I do it, then we're playing the whole night. And they're like, "Yeah." I go, "Okay, then." So then, that's when the game started. And I remember one of the first games away we had, and this was after the conversation about not playing drinking games.
Yeah. And
so we were sitting at a pub, and then everyone's kind of sitting around, just yarning, like I say, and then I was kind of like sitting there waiting. And I remember a few of the boys were like, "Stuff this, man. Come on, let's just play some games." Let's say, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not playing." And then sit there, they're like, "Yeah, no, we're on." And so then after that, I said to them, I was like, "Mate, this ain't me."
Yeah.
But I am a Nazi. I am a Nazi. I'll admit to that.
Oh, that's good stuff. No drinking games would have been tough. Okay. This probably leads to that one. Best off-field story from your time at the Stags.
Stags. Yep. One of the best ones, it was hard case. It was, so we had a coin game. So we're on an end-of-season trip to Queenstown.
Yeah.
The boys on the bus. And then we pull at pubs on the way up. And so there was a one coin, it was $1 coin. And if you hold in your glass and they got dropped in it, then you have to chop your glass. And because I was the Nazi, the boys were after me the whole time, the whole time. And so then and I was sitting there and something happened, and someone gave me a jug, and so I went, "Oh yeah," and they go, "Yeah, just hold that for me." And then I was a bit half cut, and then so I was just kind of holding it, and I was about to grab my glass to pour it in. And then Whopper came up behind me and had this coin, and he dropped it, and I just looked at it, and he dropped it, and it hit the rim, and then it fell off the rim, and then it landed in the jug below it that was sitting on the table. And I just went like that, and I looked at him, and he was looking at me, and then it was like, well, both started cracking up because obviously he has to do a jug. But, oh mate, it was, and then so it was, but they were all after me ever since. Yeah, every drinking trip.
Yeah,
I'm like a bit of a focus for the boys because I'm such a bit of an asshole. Really, I like that song. I'm an asshole, but no, it was a good one. But we had so many trips away; it's hard to kind of find a favourite.
Were you at the famous Highlander do, the one with Haskell and Cookie and?
No, I went home. So
you were playing that year.
Yeah, I was playing that year.
Oh, true. You're one of the 2 or 3 guys who went there.
Yeah, I'd gone home. I think we had a Spates thing, and then I took off after the do at the Spates Lounge. Yeah. So I just went home, a bit older by then. No time, I couldn't hang out with those boys. So, but the next morning I went and went to I think we had the team photo the next day. Yeah. And we were talking to Jimmy, and it's like, sort of cut up, and I was like, "Mate, what's going on?" He's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. That sounds okay. Kind of then it all started coming out, and I was just like, "Mate, got the attitude." But he was he's a good mate, Jimmy. Yeah. He just kind of gets a bit of a bad rap on some of those things. I think he calls it a lot of it, but I'll put one in for him.
Okay, next one. Tips to coming into a high level environment.
Like what I liked about coming into Tasman is that they're very accepting of anyone and their own kind of personality. You have to toe the line in terms of what the team wants and all that, but I think being yourself is really important. If you try to be someone else, sooner or later you'll get not found out, but it just won't work. Because it's not you. And so that's what I've really enjoyed about coming into Tasman, is that they are very accepting of people in a different way they kind of operate. Yeah. There's certain things that you have to do, but mate, as long as you put the work in and you're doing your job both on and off the field, then that's a big one for me. Really,
like that. Okay, next one. This question is from our major sponsor, Swish, one of the great sponsors. Video shout out from any celebrity in the world. Who would it be and why?
Mate, I'm a big Michael Jordan fan.
Michael Jordan.
Oh, mate, he's something else. That dude's kind of growing up. Yeah. So if it was anyone, it'd be him, the GOAT.
to think that you potentially could have played with him if you went down that journey.
I could have held his towel for him, mate, and just wiped the sweat off his brow. But no, mate, he's someone that I've always admired and looked up to. And like I haven't argued with my mates because I think LeBron James is pretty good too. He's right up there. But Michael Jordan,
still the GOAT. Oh, LeBron's overtaken him, has he?
No, man, it's hard. His record's hard to deny, man. But he'll be, like people have opinions on this.
Oh,
but that dude, man, like he's LeBron. I think we've had this conversation. Like, my question would be, who's the greatest athlete of all time?
Yeah.
But like, I remember.
So hard to judge. It's impossible.
Well, yeah. But I look at a guy like LeBron, and mate, he's prototypical size, but can move like a ballerina and jump as high as like a physical phenom.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, well, who could do? Like I try to think who would be a better athlete than that guy. I just reckon he's been gifted some natural talent. So hard to deny.
That's fair. What about someone like Usain Bolt? Like, obviously, he's just physically next level speed. Apparently, he's quite good at like cricket and things
Soccer
like that.
Too,
but he obviously hasn't focused on those sports. He's just been trying to run as fast as he can. But someone like him, he must come in the conversation.
He must do. Yep. Hundreds. I've never really thought of Usain actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We could probably talk for hours on
we could.
who the greatest athlete is of all time. It could be the next podcast, but we will crack on because it's more editing for me. Anyway, next question. What's something that you've seen hold back players' careers more than anything else? It's an interesting one, but deeper.
Yeah. Well, one is how they, and I wasn't a saint off the field, but definitely how boys conduct themselves off the field.
Yeah.
Like the game is now, it's getting like when I was playing professionally, it was like less than 10 years into being a professional sport. Yeah, less than 10 years into being a professional sport. Now it's, what are we into, almost 30? So the game has moved, and so the things that we used to do back then, you kind of realise now, shit, man, we're way off what we were doing. Like what we're putting in our bodies before and after games and everything like that.
Yeah.
And now, like for me, just if you want to be a professional, you got to behave like a professional, and it's not just a game day thing. It's a lifestyle. That's your job, and your tools are your body. So the more that you look after your body and preparing yourself for that game, mate, it can only help you. So in terms of holding you back, if you're not doing it now, like and people question, how come I'm not making these teams? I'm not making the 23. Yeah. Well, the stats and everything don't lie. All your numbers don't lie. You gotta, So I think it's the off-field stuff is holding people back more than anything.
Mate, that's it. I'm still surprised at how many guys don't sort of fully invest into themselves and their career. Like we've seen it a bit this year, but you got an opportunity of a lifetime to sort of make a career out of the game and to just eat it and drink it, or it's quite hard to watch.
It's really, I think, and that's like, and especially when you're coaching now and you kind of see it. I think as a player you kind of it's like I'm getting paid and it's my job, but I still get to have fun and it's like a game. But if you weren't doing that, you'd be on the tools doing something. You'd be working, you'd be labouring, you'll be in the office or something like that. And as I said, mate, I didn't treat it as professional as what I should have. But looking back now, like the opportunities to be a professional sportsman are really small. So you got to grab it, man. Like, and the careers are getting shorter, I reckon. Yeah. So the quicker you can grab onto, and commit to being a professional rugby player, the more success you're going to have. And I firmly believe that. Yeah.
100%. Love that. Okay, last question. Best piece of advice you have for a Woodlad listener? You've already given us a little bit already, so could be good.
Well, I think be yourself. I said it before. Just be yourself. Be true to yourself. And it was something that I've learned, especially coming to coaching. I think when I first started coaching, I wasn't for me personally, I think I was trying to be someone else, and I wasn't myself. So I think, and looking back, when you reflect, you kind of understand all this. But if you're trying to be someone else, then sooner or later you're going to get found out. So just be who you are, and if doesn't work, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then so that'd be my advice.
Like that, it's hard as a player. You go from a player to a coach quite quickly. You're yourself as a player, and then all of a sudden, you still want to be yourself, but as a coach, and how that personality has to change, or whether it does have to change, and I find that almost like a grey area as going from a player to a coach.
100%. And that's where I think I battled when I was down in Southland.
Yeah.
Because I played with that group too. I'd gone from playing with them into actually coaching. And then, having conversations. And it's weird, man, having a conversation with a coach and he's talking about the players. Yeah. The conversation about players is quite funny, Like when you...
switch the side.
That's it, man. It's quite... direct, man, and it's kind of harsh. You're like, oh shit.
What did he say about me?
Exactly. That's what I used to think. Shit, man. I remember a situation like that. I'll be involved in that. And man, were you like that with me? Nah. Right. But and that's the part that I think is really hard. To be yourself still in that arena, because obviously your perspective changes. On how you treat, especially when you're going to coaching and stuff like that. Your perspective changes on players and how they should conduct themselves. But if you can be yourself, it's a big one.
That's it. And, mate, what an episode. One of the great episodes of What a Lad with the great Hoani Macdonald, who has had some career. I mean, dying on the field. Unbelievable story, mate. How you've gone through your career and played for all the teams you did, had a successful career on the field, and then post-footy as well, coaching. It's been a privilege coaching with you this year with Tasman, and thoroughly enjoyed your company and working with you. So looking forward to following what's next for you, and hopefully plenty of more success around the corner.
Thank you, mate, and it's been a pleasure working with you too. Very welcoming, and the whole group, really. That's why I've just love my time here, and thanks for having me out here. And
mate, thanks for coming out to the studio. Absolutely. First potty done. Love your work.
What a lad, what a lad.